to VBUZZ. It is a midweek, but because you're on the show, it's an awesome midweek.
It is an awesome week, and we'll be starting off with some awesome people. First and foremost, I am Roshan.
And I am Juanita. And yes, today on VBUZZ, we chat with Jerison Abraham Doss about his VBUZZ Starfish project and find out how he's lending a helping hand to the homeless.
All right, you fancy yourself an urban farmer. Yasmin Rashid and Sheikh Shanaz of Poptani have their tools ready to educate us and help us get started.
Awesome. In Motivate Activate, we bring you the second part of the series of how to know how to be a more effective public speaker. And as always, keep writing to us at vbuzz@astro.com.my and follow us on Instagram at vbuzz_HD.
Yeah, show us some love, like a picture, send us your emails, your feedback, your suggestions, and who you would like to watch or rather have us on the show.
Yes, and Gong Hei Fa Choi if you're still celebrating, right?
That's true, yeah. It's like this. It's not like this. It's like this.
Oh, it's like this.
Do you know what this means in Kung Fu, by the way?
What?
I'm a warrior, but I come in peace.
Really?
I don't know. I just made that up, but still, yeah.
That was actually quite interesting. But anyway, because Chinese New Year is, happening, billions of online money transfers have taken place in China, as the ancient Lunar New Year tradition of handing out red envelopes of cash met the internet age. Dun dun dun! For centuries, parents, relatives, and employers have handed out ong bao or ang bao, as they say here, small gifts of money to children or menial workers to celebrate the dawn of the new year. But in increasingly tech-savvy China, givers are abandoning the red paper envelopes and opting instead to transfer money via their mobile phone. It's quite sad because it's, the red packet means a lot.
It's traditional, isn't it? That's all I can remember from years gone by,
Exactly.
I'll go over to my neighbors like, hey, hello.
Right, and then you collect all the ang pao, see how high it stacks. But on Sunday, the eve, yes, that's what I do, the eve of the Year of the Monkey, a staggering 8 billion ang paos were exchanged, 8 times the number gifted last year. The idea of electronic ang pao was introduced in recent years by WeChat, a mobile messaging system with over 650 million users and operated by Tencent, China's largest internet service portal.
I mean, it's the new trend, right? Everything is online. I mean, talk about social media, now money transactions, you purchase movie tickets online, but...
Yeah, you pay everything online, but it doesn't mean just because it's easy, it has to be done. There's certain,
traditional value.
Yeah, traditional value, certain things that go into receiving the ang pao and giving out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at the end, it's always more personal when I give it to you in person. But then again, if you feel like giving money from China to me, online is the way to go, bro. Just send it to me. I'll give you my bank details later. But speaking about bank details, footballers make a lot of money. But there's a different kind of football, what I'm going to talk to you about.
Right.
Britain's craziest game of football unleashed chaos yesterday as several thousand people, not 22, crammed the streets of a historic town.
Right.
To tussle for ball and victory. The Royal Shrovetide football match is an adrenaline-fueled, you know this, I'm impressed, traditional with roots going back to at least the 12th century. And the game has barely moved on in terms of the rules. Now, once a year, the town of Ashborough in Derbyshire, a central part of England, I knew that, by the way, without Google, splits up yards and down yards, basically splitting this town into half. And now both of them are either basically up North River or down South River, off the river, Hanmore. Now, for a free-for-all, it's basically anything goes. It goes through the streets, the fields, anywhere before ending in the water. Now, the riverbank goes about 5 kilometers apart. That's the goals, yeah? That's 5 kilometers apart. And there are a few straightforward rules. Number 1, thou shalt not kill. Number 2, do not hide the ball. And 3, stay out of the churchyard. Because it's
so cool.
You don't do that.
You don't go to the churchyard and play, no.
Yeah. Moving on. Now, the aim of the game is to basically get the goal, which is the ball, into tapping it 3 times at the team's milestone. This year, the Upyards secured victory with one of their number of team members that managed the feat. After 3 hours, the contest takes place every Shrove Tuesday and Ash Wednesday, which is a signal the start of the Christian season of Lent.
That's such an interesting game, though you lost me at Riverbank 5 kilometers apart. But,
It's the same rules. It's just, remember, it's like WWE, Hulk Hogan and...
But in the water.
No, it's not in the water.
Okay.
It's not rocket science. I will explain this thing to you a bit later on. But yes, in this week's Motivate Activate, we're going to continue with our 12-part series of public speaking. Now, part 1 was already brought to you some time ago. If you missed out on it, you can always log on to our app and watch our previous episodes. But this week, we're all about public speaking with the second version. Something very, very vital. And if you want to know how you can improve your skills with regards to public speaking, then watch this.
Hi, so I'm Jasmine. I'm 22 years old and right now I'm studying law in UiTM Shah Alam. I joined debating a couple of years ago because I thought it was an interesting and probably a very challenging thing for me to try. So debating has been pretty transformative on many experiences that I go through in my life. I hope that you guys will try debating or public speaking as well, so it can also be a transformative activity, a transformative experience for you. So the topic that we'll be talking about today will be the art of persuasion. So it's about getting your audience to not only understand what you're trying to say, but understand the message that you're trying to deliver as well. So let's follow me and we'll talk a lot more about the topic. So let's talk about how to make your speech more persuasive. The first thing you must do is to understand your topic. Talk about what your topic means to yourself as well as to the audience. The more you understand about your topic, the easier it is to convince your audience about what you're trying to say. So understanding your topic is both important for yourself as well as for your audience. The second thing you must do is understand that emotions are really, really important when it comes to expressing yourself towards your audience. You can use many different type of emotions, but those emotions must suit the type of things that you are trying to say. For example, if you are trying to persuade your audience about things like how important it is to donate to the refugee crisis, then the emotion that you're trying to use is either an emotion of empowerment or sadness, or an emotion of anger that nothing is being done about the refugee crisis. So that's one of the ways in which you're able to use your emotions and as well as engage the audience's emotions, and in order to ensure your speech is a lot more persuasive. Most importantly, you also must be really sensitive to what your audience feel at that point in time. So this is important because you need to always read your audience. So if you realize that either people are dozing off or that people are not feeling what you are feeling when you are giving those speeches, then you need to react and adapt to how your audience react. So if your audience are bored, maybe crack a joke or two in order to engage them back into your speech. Or if your audience are not feeling your emotions, then you need to stress what you're saying a lot more. Or try using hand gestures, or try being a lot more emotional so that your audience will be able to engage in your feelings as well. Other than that, you also need to know your audience. Understand who your audience are, whether they are children, youths, or people older than that. So understanding your audience is important for you to know how and what kind of message that you should convey to your audience, whether or not they might be more receptive to a joke, whether or not they might not like jokes at all. So that's important if you understand what your audience like and whether or not you appeal to your audience. But also remember to always be relatable to your audience, because there really is no point of a speech when you're talking to yourself and not talking to the person that's listening to you. So be as relatable as possible to your audience. That can come through many things like being expressive. That can come through understanding where your audience is from. That can come through speaking as though you're also one of the person that you're speaking to. So for example, if you're speaking to a group of students, speak from the point of view of a student as well, so that the person listening to you be able to understand what you're trying to say and feel that you are indeed a relatable speaker. I hope you learned a lot from this episode, particularly about the art of persuasion. So if you'd like to know more about debating and public speaking, please visit the website of Malaysian Institute for Debating and Public Speaking, as well as the National Debate Excellence Center. So please stay tuned for the next episode and we'll see you there. Bye-bye.
That's
Persuading
awesome.
someone.
Yes.
That's half the battle, isn't it?
It is the art of persuasion. You know, when you play certain games, you get charisma points. Yeah, that's how it works.
What game is this?
If life were a video game, we have charisma points when we learn this.
I play football.
Never mind. Now, have you heard of the famous anecdote though about the little boy and the thousands of starfish that have washed up on the beach?
Yep.
Okay, as the story goes, he walks from starfish to starfish, picking them up and casting them back into the ocean. A man walks up to him and says, "Little boy, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Look at this beach. You can't save
Lovely
all
acting,
these
by the way.
starfish. Don't cut me off, man. You can't even begin to make a difference," he tells the little boy. Well, in response, the boy bends down, he picks up a starfish and he hurls it as far as he can into the water, and he says, "Well, I made a difference to that one." Now, this story has been the source of inspiration to countless people across the world, including Jerison Abraham Doss, who joins us on the show today. Welcome to VBUZZ, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's an
Thank you
absolute
for
pleasure. But
coming.
Jerry, you got to start off. How did you and your wife Edna come about this whole project? How did it spur of the moment?
Yes.
What happened?
You see, from that story, right?
Yeah.
There was a continuation of that story. Is when the boy told that at least I made a difference to that one starfish, the guy felt embarrassed. So now he started helping the boy. And when he started helping the boy, it wasn't long, then it became 2, 3, 4, and then everyone by the seaside started picking up starfishes and started throwing it back into the sea. So it became a movement, and a lot more starfish got saved. So we used that model to actually decide on how can we help a certain group and make it into a movement. So we started Starfish to be a self-sustaining social enterprise so that we can grow and help a lot more people. We decided to go with water, so we sell water. We do office delivery, you know, you have your 19 liters, the bottled water. And when we sell water, the profits go towards educating underprivileged children. But what we decided is, in the factory, why don't we give employment to a special crowd? A crowd that might find it difficult to get a job somewhere else.
Right.
So I have been involved with the rehab center for more than 20 years in an integration program. So I said, why don't we hire them? Let's give them the opportunity. Let's pay them a decent salary to restore dignity. So I would pay them a salary that I'll pay anyone else.
Right.
Then from the drug rehab center, it became ex-addicts, and then a new crowd was the homeless. So we created a movement that just by drinking water, which a lot of Malaysians are already doing, just because we're doing charity doesn't mean we have to price it at a premium.
Yeah.
So just by drinking water, you're educating underprivileged children, providing jobs to a special group, and helping the homeless, and now even poor families.
Awesome. Now
It
we're
is a
gonna get-
movement.
Yeah, it is a movement. We're going to get deeper into that individual movement that you do. But what were you doing before you set up Viva Starfish Project? Take us through that step.
Okay. Now, I played football. I played professional football. I wasn't really good at it, but when I came to Selangor, I had this privilege of playing for a very famous, legendary goalkeeper, Ong Yu Tiang. So my mom inculcated a habit in me when I was young because I was a healthy kid. I was horizontally challenged. Okay, I'm in denial. I was fat. I was fat. So I had to drink like 2 cups of Milo in the morning and extra allowance to school just to drink Milo, right? So what my mom did was, if you can sacrifice your second mug of Milo, that is the price to sponsor a child. So from a very young age, I was sponsoring a child, and back then it was like 20 ringgit to sponsor a child for a month. What was unique is I get to write letters to the child I was sponsoring. I get to see the child develop. So as that was happening, we followed throughout. So that was something that I was doing for a very long time. So I was involved in sponsoring underprivileged children. When I came to Selangor, so somehow or another, Ong Yu Tiang overheard me saying this, okay? My heart is actually with children. You know, I want to help children. Now, when it comes to the rehab and drug addicts and all, they made a bad choice. So, you know, my heart is really not there. So when he actually heard me saying that, he said, Jerry, why don't you come and join my special team? So, you know, when a legendary goalkeeper calls you to come and play football for his team, I thought I was that good, so that's why he called me, right? But actually, 6 months down the road, I came to know that his special team was actually a program to reintegrate ex-graduates or ex-rehab boys back into society through sports.
Right.
So that's when I became close to them. They were as normal as you and me. Somehow they made a bad choice in life and eventually led them to an addiction. And along, throughout life, I noticed, because I was 19 back then, it has happened to relations, friends, and a lot of people that we know of.
Just different circumstances.
Exactly, and just a wrong choice.
Yeah.
So VBUZZ Starfish enabled me to bring in my passion to educate underprivileged children and to reintegrate the rehab boys with a job into society.
And as for Edna, who's not here, but she's sitting over there in the, the dressing room. I mean, what was her story?
Okay, her story was she always wanted to do something for them, but sometimes you need to join with the right person. So I have a business aspect to it because I always want to make it self-sustaining. Yeah. So on her side, she had a lot of heart. So, when you have a lot of heart, it can run you dry at times. It can, huge sacrifice. So when we have the right partner to actually pair up with, that's when we are able to achieve our objectives, and setting our objectives on day one was vital to us.
Amazing, and you've done a lot of work, which we are going to get into. We have to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll still be with Jarrison Abraham, DOS, about the Starfish project. See you in a bit.